How are you, sir?
Good morning, Rich. I'm doing well.
Great to chat with you. So let's start. How is life for you, Coach? It's been a while since we've chatted.
Well, it's very good. I spend the winters in Florida and the summers in Saratoga, New York. You know, I'm pretty active in horse racing, and I enjoy that very much. I need action, and that's some of it. And then I play golf, and pretty much in good health. So I'm enjoying my time now.
Okay. Well, is there action on the golf course too, Coach?
There may be a little.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
maybe a little.
All right. What's your game like? What does it look like right now? Your golf game.
Well, you know, when you're 77, you can't hit it as far. And I'm struggling right now, comparatively speaking to what I used to be able to do.
Okay.
I'm struggling, but I enjoy the game. I enjoy the competition. And I still like practicing, hitting golf balls and things. So, you know, it's not tedious at all for me.
Fantastic.
So it gives me something to do.
What's the best round you ever had, and where?
The best round I ever had was 72 at Due Process Stable in Colts Neck, New Jersey.
Colts Neck.
That was a long time ago.
Were you coaching the Jets, Giants at the time? Which one were you coaching at the time?
You know, I don't know to the best of my recollection. I'm not sure. Okay. I just know it was a long time ago. Fantastic. And both of those things were a long time ago.
Let's talk about the here and now then. Some of your guys from your coaching tree, quite active in not just coaching, but trying to win a Super Bowl this year. And I'd love to start, if you don't mind, with Mike Zimmer, since he's the one who bounced his offensive coordinator with 3 games to go. I'm wondering what you think the challenges of that are going to be for a 6-6-1 team with a new quarterback this year and obviously a new play caller for the last 3 games.
Well, I think these kinds of things are difficult to do at best. And I'm pretty sure that it was just something that wasn't working, and Mike probably didn't want to forego the season, and he wanted to try to do something about it now, you know. And if right now they're still in I think the wild card slot. If they could win 3 games, I think that would ensure them a playoff, and then, of course, you're starting over. So I think he thought that it was worthwhile to try to do something. And I don't know the inner workings of it, but I'm sure there was something that wasn't satisfactory or he wouldn't have done it.
So what is the challenges, do you think, for the last 3 weeks? Or do you think that could actually work to their advantage, that other teams can't scout them? They don't know what's coming, potentially.
Well, you know, I think probably the people that are still there, I don't think the offense will change appreciably, but I think they'll try to maybe put a little more emphasis in a couple of areas that they've been deficient in, and, you know, take a look at themselves and see what they exactly think they can do. They should know that pretty much by this time of the season, but anytime you make change, there's a little uncertainty, particularly on your game day management. And, you know, you have a new play caller, you know, how much is the head coach involved, and he'll be involved, I'm sure. So that's some of the challenges. More so, I think, the game day management.
Bill Parcells, Hall of Famer, here on the Rich Eisen Show. When's the first time you met Sean Payton, and what'd you see in him?
You know something? That's a really good question. The first time I ever met him is when we flew together to Dallas to go to the Cowboys. I had never met him in person before that. I had talked to him several times over the phone, and I hired him over the phone.
Over the phone? What did you? Yeah. I guess what'd you hear in him then to say, okay, that's one of the guys.
First of all, he'd been with the Giants, and I have, you know, at that point, I had quite a few reference points with some of the people that I'd interacted with the Giants, and they had very good things to say about him. And particularly some people that I was close to with the Giants thought he was a good young coach, and just a circumstance there that happens to some young coaches from time to time. But they thought he had good potential, and they were right.
Well, I certainly were. And, you know, he seems to me as old school throwback as they come, and yet he has absolutely gone with the flow, if you will, these days with offenses and what to do, and having an old warhorse at quarterback in this day and age where you need one of those young kids on a first contract, it seems, so you could pay all the other guys around him. What he's been able to do is truly something else. I'm wondering how much do you think the experience from Dallas or other experiences are playing into all of this?
Oh, I think he's one of the most tenured coaches in the league now. And your experience can do nothing but help you. And I remember having a discussion with him a few years back that from his championship team, he was going to have to recycle pretty much completely, other than his quarterback, which is fortunate. And that's what he's been able to do. He's been able to put new linemen, new defensive players, new secondary players, new receivers, new runners, and it's been a great transition for him, and it's allowed him to continue to be very, very strong offensively. And Sean is he's old school, I think, in terms of how he wants his team to behave, but he's very open-minded and about the future and new ideas and things like that. He likes those things and enjoys implementing them, and if he feels like his team can execute them.
I'm sure you've noticed the state of the game has been trending more offensively, Coach. What do you think is the counterbalance to that? Even though we have seen some defensive battles, certainly with the Bears and the Rams just this past weekend, what do you think the counterbalance is, or will we see one in the NFL?
It's obviously what the NFL wants. It wants scoring. There's no doubt about it. They think scoring sells, and they might be right. I think they've put limitations by the new rules on the kicking game, which used to be, it's still vital, but it's certainly not as preeminent as it used to be because there aren't that many punt return or kickoff return opportunities. And, the field goal rule has put a little intrigue in the game. And, the extra point rule has put a little intrigue in the game there. But that part of the game is appreciably different. And, the rules also, as you know, are pretty much stacked to ensure offensive continuity. Every single defensive penalty but offsides results in a first down. And so that's given the offenses a lot more opportunities. And, it's just a percentage thing. The more opportunities you get, the higher percentage you're going to have in scoring. So that's what they want. But still, in the end, when the elements get into play, like, in Seattle, in Chicago, some of these contending teams now, and they get into play, certainly New England, the elements are a great equalizer. And when it's a windy day and cold and the flags are cracking, those passing offenses a lot of the time don't execute as well. So defense is, I still think, very, very important. And if you can, get some stops once in a while, then it gives you a good chance. I think these high-flying offenses, which we've really got a couple of them, so one or two of them defensively are a little suspect. And so I think on the right day, they could be had in the playoffs. And, it's one of those things where you're not going to outscore everybody all the time. But that's the way they want the game now, and that's the way it is, and it is exciting. I enjoyed those games last weekend very much.
Did you enjoy that 54-51 Monday nighter between the Chiefs and the Rams?
Defensive coordinator at heart, I had a hard time with that one. And I don't think the defensive coordinators in the league like seeing those scores.
Yeah, and Wade and Bob Sutton are old school too. Those guys are the DCs.
Oh, I know. That's right.
Yeah,
But you see Vic Fangio, what he did the other night.
Right.
There in Chicago, and he's always been a top coordinator, and And you see what a good defense can do, even with an offense that's kind of iffy on scoring points. But they're in contention and strong. And if they get a game in Chicago, it'll be tough.
Did you see that exchange between the media and Bill Belichick the week before the run-up to the Bears playing the Patriots? And somebody was talking about Khalil Mack being a game wrecker, maybe an all-time game wrecker, and attempted to say the words Lawrence Taylor in the same sentence, and Belichick stopped that reporter right there, goes, no, hold on a second. That's Lawrence Taylor you're talking about. Did you see that exchange?
I did hear it, yeah. And, in fact, Lawrence called me, and we discussed that. But,
Can you enlighten us on the details of that conversation you had with LT?
Well, he said, I think I could command a pretty good salary these days. That's what he told me.
I bet.
But, Mack has been a good addition for Chicago, and he's a very good player. I think he's gotten a lot of recognition. But, there's 11 or 12 guys that have more sacks than him. And, there's a young guy in Denver, that Bradley Chubb. I mean, I haven't heard anybody mention his name. He's a tremendous rookie. I mean, he's got 12 and a half sacks already with 3 games to go. A rookie getting 15 sacks maybe. That's very, very unusual.
So which is the most complete team you think right now, Coach Parcells? In the few minutes I have left with you here, Super Bowl right around the corner, 3 games to go in the regular season. The most complete team in the NFL.
The most complete team? Mm-hmm. I think probably New Orleans. They're playing pretty good on defense, but I am very leery of the teams that seem to have the assets in place, like Dallas and Seattle. They are improving at a very, very fast rate now. And when you look across the board on Dallas now, they have firepower at the receiver position with Gallup and Cooper. They have runner. They have a quarterback that can get the job done. They get better play out of their tight ends last week. Their defensive front is excellent. They have good linebackers, 2 young linebackers that are very good. I think they're going to be a tough out as well. And I just based that on them hanging in there with New Orleans the other night. So you see Chicago with the Bears and Dallas with New Orleans and Seattle with Minnesota, and you got to figure that they're going to be a factor if they could get in.
Then there's also another assistant of yours here in Los Angeles, and Anthony Lynn. When Melvin Gordon comes back, you could make the case the Chargers are the most complete team as well.
Well, you know something? You mentioned what I think for the Chargers is the key piece, Melvin Gordon. I think with him, they got a real shot. Without him, I think it's a little problematic because it gets a little too one-sided on the passing. And it doesn't give them that balance that they've had, and they need that. Defensively, they're playing pretty well. So I think it'll be an interesting game here soon, and it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and what you mentioned with Dallas, Amari Cooper, when they acquired him for a first-round selection or drafted Leighton Vander Esch instead of Calvin Ridley. A lot of people were wondering if Jerry Jones had lost his mind or could not shop for groceries, but he kind of made the right moves there, wouldn't you say?
Yes, he did. In fact, they'd probably give 2 ones for him if they knew what he was going to do.
I bet.
He's done well, and that Gallup has been a factor for them. He's a speed factor. They've got 2 guys that can run outside. That's a big thing there.
You like listening to Romo in the booth, Coach?
Oh, yeah. He's a piece of work.
He is, man. He is.
I heard him the other day. It's right at the last second. I think it was the Ravens and the Chiefs, and the Ravens needed that first down, and Griffin was in there, and he starts calling my offensive plays. He said, they're going to run all go special. And sure enough, that's what they ran.
That's one of your plays, huh? That's one of your plays?
Well, that one, what he meant was 62 all go special. Yeah, that's what I played. Right. That's what he meant. I know what he meant. Yeah.
So a couple more for you here, Coach Parcells, before I let you head off to the, I guess it's the winter. So you're down in Florida right now, or you're not with the Ponies?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very good. All right, so what happens if, let's just say Sean Payton and the Saints take on Bill Belichick and the Patriots in the Super Bowl? Just the X's and O's and just on these guys. What type of game do you think we'd see? Because it sure looks like we could get that with Breeze and potentially.
Well, that would be very exciting. I think you see the two dynamic pass offenses, and probably, New England's always going to have a good kicking game. Bill puts a lot of emphasis on that, and I think Sean's got a couple of good special teams players down there. That Payton Hill, he's done some things for him, and so I think it'll be very interesting. But again, it goes back to who can stop who the most times, and I think that's what it would be. I think it'd be a very exciting Super Bowl, and that would be okay with me as well.
Okay. Yeah, you're just watching two of your guys, I guess, in a way, former assistants go at it right there. And what do you think of when you see Patrick Mahomes, Coach? You were talking about you were watching that game. Some of the throws he was making, a no-look one across over the middle, and then the 4th and 9 one to win. What do you think of when you see that kid?
Listen, I think he's spectacular. But I have to really pay tribute to Andy Reid on this. He knew that he wanted Patrick Mahomes. He traded up to get him, and then he had the patience to hold him in abeyance for a year while he learned and got his feet on the ground and got the feel for professional football and looked at the defenses and sat there as a spectator for a whole year. And I think so many times now, these quarterbacks come up, everybody wants to see them, and then they rationalize it. But, well, we got to find out what we got. Well, sometimes when you throw these kids to the wolves, you can destroy them. And there's been a lot of cases of that. But Andy had the patience to say, okay, I got Alex Smith here. Let's let this young guy learn. And what he's done this year is spectacular. It really has. I mean, he can throw from any contorted position that his body gets him into. He can still throw it. So he's very, very dangerous. He's heady. He's competitive. You can tell he's got leadership qualities. And I think he's a very, very exciting player.
And then there's another one last thing I do want to hit you on is the story that was breaking at the top of my program, Coach, you may not be aware of, that Carson Wentz is dealing with a back issue and is not expected to go this week and may not go the rest of the year. It could be Nick Foles now. And just your first blush reaction to that news for the Eagles.
Well, I hadn't heard it, but I will say this, that this has not been the Carson Wentz that we've seen early on. He seems like he's had issues this year that were holding him back. And, maybe this was it. And maybe the time will do him good because he's a young, talented guy. And, it's tough to put a guy like that in jeopardy. Now, you only stick so many games and so many seasons. So, when it's possible, they should play. But quite apparently he can't. So they're probably acting wisely to give him the time, because in watching him play, I don't see the same guy I saw early in his career.
Yeah, I mean, and then your name was being mentioned all throughout the Super Bowl last year with the run that Foles went on because of you with Hostetler as well. It looks like Foles might have to do that again.
Well, they got to get in there first.
That's true.
Sure. They got their hands full getting in there right now, don't they?
Well, yeah, they do. I guess they could, like I said, ride Foles again. I'm wondering what you thought of while you watched that magic carpet ride last year, Coach.
Oh, hey, it was special. It really was. And they got it going. Their defense responded. Their offense was balanced. They did a great job, to their credit. It's hard for me to say that for the Eagles or the Redskins.
I got to pull it out of you.
It's hard for me to say that, but I give them a lot of credit.
I love it. I had to pull it out of you. All right, before I could talk to you all day. Last one for you here, I swear. My guy here, Mike Del Tufo's from Jersey. What's your hometown, Mike?
Livingston,
New Jersey.
Good friends with Murph that used to guard Bill when he was a coach. He was one of the security.
Right.
You know Murph, right, Coach?
Yes, I do.
Right back in the day. Look at you talking about Murph with so ask him the question you wanted to about the garage door at the
Coach,
old Giants Stadium.
seriously.
Giant Stadium.
Yes, I mean I did it. I did the NFC Championship in 2000 in the old stadium. Did the door really get opened for kickers? Was that
to
true?
mess with them with the draft?
Let me tell you something. It really wasn't true at Giant Stadium, but it was true in Philadelphia.
What do you mean?
That's right.
What do you mean?
That's what I saw. I saw them do it there.
The vet.
So you never did it in Giant Stadium, opening up that door to start messing with the crosswinds or anything?
I don't know. I don't know who did it. Someone may have done it, but it wasn't. It wasn't under my instruction.
Huh. So is that the plausible?
You never know. Some of those security people, you never know.
Could have been Murph.
It was in New Jersey. No, Murph was next to the coach on the field. It wasn't Murph.
Oh, Coach, this is great.
We can't be responsible for everybody in the stadium.
That's true. That's true. Hey, Coach, you take care of yourself, all right? I hope we get to do this again real soon.
Happy holidays.
You too.
To everyone, and I wish you well, Rick.
Hit him straight. Hit him straight.
Okay.
You got it. That's Bill Parcells, Pro Football Hall of Famer here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.